Today, the Destiny Rising Eclipse raid will go live. This is a high-level raid with extra rewards, and I think every player should take part in it, even if you're not trying to race for worlds first. So here are some tips that you'll need to prepare for this in the best way possible. I've got 5 things to go over here that are going to massively help you. The first of which is to use Mumu Player on PC, or at least some kind of emulator, because if you're playing on your phone or touchscreen and trying to do this raid, I mean, all the respect in the world to you, but you're missing out on so many features. For example, 120 frames per second, keyboard and mouse support, or, if you want to play on a controller, it's a lot easier. And I've also got some specific Mumu Player settings to boost your performance even further as well. Now, what you want to do here, though, is actually click the device settings, click the 3 dots, and then go to device settings. Now, there may be some recommended settings you've seen online, but honestly, I think we can get more performance out of this than you'd first think. So, number 1 option, Vulkan exclusive. CPU should be half of what your CPU cores are. So, if we go to Task Manager, right, and we go to Performance tab and click on CPU, it will tell you how many cores you have. I've got 16 here, right? So, we can put half of that for 8 cores. It will say 4 cores is best performance, but I don't buy that at all. If you've got a better PC with more cores, definitely do as half of your cores. The same can be said for RAM. You can go to your memory tab and it will tell you how much memory you've got in total. For example, right here, I've got 64 gigabytes. So you could do half of your RAM. The max is only 16, but do half of your RAM. That will get you the best performance. GPU usage strategy, turn this off and turn this setting off. In display, go for custom, 1920 by 1080 and 300 DPI. Maximum FPS, 120. The game doesn't run any higher than that, so there's no point putting it higher, just going to cause more lag. Unfortunately, for some reason, for me, I can't get 120. So 121 it has to be. You can get the FPS counter on the screen if you want to see. And then we go down to model. Choose preset, Samsung, Galaxy S25 Ultra, and then scroll down and GPU model, preset, and do high Adreno TM740. Top of that, we have a couple other things to talk about. You're going to want to put this on an SSD, or the fastest drive you have. This is going to help load areas quicker, and if you have on a slower drive, it's going to take a long time to load. So those are the settings for Mumu Player, and you might think, well, this isn't really going to help me with the raid, but it's going to help a lot more than you'd first think. Just make sure that when you press the save button, you have to restart the emulator first for the settings to take effect. But now I've got a very smooth game that, for the most part, hits high frames. Sometimes in very chaotic areas, it does stutter a little bit. But I found these settings to be far better than the default ones, and I stutter a lot less often than I usually would. Obviously, you need to now go into the actual settings page here and go to the audio and graphics. It's up to you what you want to do. If you want the best performance possible, though, you should go custom, standard, max 120, and standard. Ambient occlusion off, volumetric fog off, and anisotropy off. This is going to get you a very potato-looking game, but it will get you the best frames possible. Personally, for me, I've got quite a high-end PC, so I do like to have this stuff on. Although I do keep volumetric fog off just because it lets you see things a little bit better. And this is how the game runs. Pretty nice. Right, now let's move on to some actual gameplay tips here. My next tip here is for you to go and watch some YouTube videos so that you can learn the best routes and runs for these raids, right? The Eclipse raid is probably going to be different in a little way, but for the most part, it's going to be the same 3 levels we've already been playing. So you can go and watch some of these runs on YouTube or guide videos out there to really get a good head start. I'm going to suggest this one by ES9, Destiny Rising Isaki's Tabernacle World Record. You can get an idea of the team setup that they're running and the positions they're holding and what they're doing. And if you want a more general raid guide and you've got enough time to really learn the ins and outs, this video by Agent Virus is a really good in-depth guide. I'll put links to those in the description. Make sure you've done your research, right? And learn about everything you could. Agent Virus also has a really good video as well, talking about prepping your build for the raid. So that's going to be helpful if you don't know how to prep your build. And this goes into in depth as well. The next tip is to find a fire team. You can do it with random matchmaking, but you're definitely not going to have a chance of performing well. And you'll find it easier to find people you can communicate with. Best way to do that, honestly, is in the official Destiny Rising Discord. I'll put a link in the description for that. You're then going to want to click Channels and Roles and go to Browse Channels and scroll down, and you will find Looking for Group, Wolfpack Recruiting, Looking for Group, Gauntlet, Onslaught. So you can click on both of these, and that will be added to your channel pages down here. And then you can find people not only recruiting for wolf packs, but also for people looking for groups for the raid. So this is going to be a big one. You're going to be able to find people to actually play this with, which is going to make things not only a lot easier, but a lot more fun. The next tip is to prepare your character. There are some restrictions to this mode. We've got fair play mechanics in play. And like I say, the Agent Virus video is a very in-depth overview, but let me just break down the official details here. So weapon mods are disabled. So these are disabled. Okay. On top of that, exotic weapons have their catalyst node to just this first one, this first tree here. All of the others aren't going to count. Your weapon gear level is capped at 80, although I think for most people that's not going to matter because we don't have any metastable cores to use for that for the most part. The talent tree is also locked, and light linked companions is locked. So for the most part, this isn't going to matter much unless you've got a full talent tree. Just be prepared. You should practice some runs, perhaps without using any of your extra ability usages. If they're there, for example, Gwyn has 2 charges here. Keep that in mind. It's going to feel a little bit weird if you've got some talent tree progress and suddenly your abilities aren't working the same way. So be prepared for that. Weapon-wise, it's going to be really important to think about the pure stats of the weapon itself and the traits. The mods are disabled, so you could think about how that's going to impact your overall performance. The best thing you can do is grab a weapon. Well, you can't really, can you? You could go like this. You can go for mods, and you can go into the mod section, equip other mods, and put on a low-level legendary mod, and that's going to give you a feeling for what it's going to feel like when the raid goes live. And honestly, the next step is practice. Find your fire team if you can. Build yourself out in a way that mimics the raid. So we're going to get rid of our mods. We're going to, well, it's kind of impossible if you already upgraded your catalyst. But try different characters. If you potentially think about maybe you're going to play Wolf, maybe you're going to play Ning Fei, Gwyn, maybe you're going to do Tan2. Who you're going to play, practice with them. And get as much practice in as possible. It's just going to make it a better experience for everybody, especially if you plan to go in here and do random matchmaking. Get some experience under your belt first, because everyone's going to go into this blind. So if you do random matchmaking, the more experience you have, the more you're going to be able to help your fellow team members. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, let me know, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.